have you and the band managed to get together at all, or maybe even like a Zoom or?
Yeah, I mean, like we've sort of been, even though I'm up here, because we can sort of get around rehearsing and stuff because it's a business, so I can sort of get around that. I mean, like the band's basically based in Stoke now because that's where all the members live, bar me and Frank. So we just drive there. But I mean, I've been stopped a few times by the police, but they just sort of ask what you're doing, why are you up here? You sort of just show them stuff and they're quite happy with that. So yeah, I've seen the guys probably three or four times since this has all happened. Really, we were supposed to do some shows this month, but they just got cancelled because of everything that was going on. So yeah, so it's a bit of a bummer because like the album's done really well. Like we haven't been able to celebrate together at all. We're sort of like a quick sort of chat on like sort of Zoom or something like that. But like Frank just hates it, so he never does it. So it's like 5 of us, and then Frank's like, no, I don't like doing it. So he won't do it. So I think it's just going to be the first sort of gig we do all together. Will probably be the day we sort of celebrate the album being out. Which will probably be, I don't know yet. I mean, we've just rescheduled some shows for February, but again, we just don't know if they're going to happen or not. So we'll just have to wait and see, really.
Yeah, I'm sure just so many people are in that boat at the minute, just like, I want to be hopeful, but I'm just going to just see how it is.
I mean, like my whole business is based around touring bands and stuff. So I haven't had any work. Well, I haven't had any work since March, really. Bits and bobs, but like nothing like major because obviously no one can tour. So it's just one of them things. But I mean, I've been sort of trying to keep upbeat about it because there's a lot of people worse off than I am. So I'm quite lucky, really, that I can sort of take a year off, really, and just not have to worry too much. Where there's people out there who've got nothing. So I feel a bit of an idiot when I go on, getting annoyed and stuff. It's just like, well, there's people out there who can't even pay their rent or have any food for their kids, So luckily I'm all right at the minute. So but yeah, it's still a drag, isn't it? It's still like can't go and see your mates.
Yeah, just the little things that made your week like more normal.
Yeah, go to the pub or anything like that. I went to meet some friends for food the other day, like last week, in a pub, and we were just sitting there going, it's the weirdest thing that you can, like, we're here having food, but we can't have a drink. You know, just the strangest thing. I don't really like going into pubs if I can't drink, to be honest with you. It's like,
might as well stay home.
Exactly. It's boring. But there we go. So yeah.
But with regards to your new album, Hard to Kill, have you guys found that the pandemic has affected the release at all?
I think it has, to a point. Just not being able to tour or festival, but we didn't really have much really planned for this year because it was so late on in the year. In October we released it. We sort of knew, we knew before we released it, because we were in the pandemic before we even thought about releasing the record, to be fair. But yeah, we just thought, because we've been sitting on the record for a year already because of everything that was been going on with the band. So we were just so bored of having the record. We just thought we just need to release it as soon as possible, really. So we had like a 6-week campaign, and we just released it, and hopefully we were gearing up for next year to be on tour. Really, I mean, we would have probably been on tour now on a UK tour, doing our own tour, but we're sort of more looking towards sort of main support slots and getting out to Europe and stuff like that, more than us touring by ourselves. I think that's where we're sort of at now. It's just we just want to get out there and just tour with bigger bands, get on better festivals in Europe and stuff, which is is happening. So I don't think I think in one way it's helped us that we've been in a pandemic, because people they can't go to shows, so they're just buying the records straight away. where some people just wait until they see us to buy the record. So it's sort of, I think it has, but it hasn't at the same time, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I think in some ways it's been a good way, because it's made people buy it straight off the bat, and it's charted, so that's the best thing what could have happened, really. But it's a good way of doing it in a bad way, because we had to do videos and stuff like that, so it's like just trying to figure out how we could do the videos and we had to do it sort of really quick, so we couldn't put much of a budget into the videos. So, but I mean, people seem to like them, so, and people sort of were forgiven about how sort of they didn't look polished enough, which we're not really that kind of band anyway, so we're quite happy. Yeah. It has in a way of not touring, but it hasn't in the way of releasing, I don't think, at all, really.
So many bands have said like that kind of tour at the end is like that icing on the cake.
Yeah.
Feeling like done.
Yeah.
But,
it is, but to be fair, it's like we've put so much work into this record, and seeing how much press it's getting, and the tours with shows we've got next year, I think we're more looking forward. I mean, to be honest with you, I hate touring. I hate headlining shows anyway. I really don't like it, because it's all on you then, but we've got, like, we're starting to look at tour, like doing a headline tour in September and stuff like that. I mean, again, it's so far away. It's so funny when, like, we've got a tour booked we're looking at booking a tour in September, and we're back in the studio in October to record the next record, and we haven't even toured this record yet.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, in a way, I think it's going to give more lifespan to this record, because it means that we can tour it for a bit longer. But yeah, it's just, it is a bit of a bummer, but there's nothing we can do about it, so there's no point worrying about it, I don't think, too much.
No, exactly. Yeah, exactly that. Yeah. So it's a hard question, I know, but are there any songs on this record that would you say are maybe your particular favourites, or maybe some that you're like really looking forward to doing live? Or
I think like Doom Machine is probably my favourite on the record, really, because it's one of them songs where you always sort of get one on one of the records, but you don't really realise it sounds shit, but like how good it can turn out, and like it sort of that whole song just came together in the studio, because we all live quite far away from each other. We sort of all went in separately to record this record. So I went in to do the drums, and then with Frank, because where the record was recorded is in Kettering, so Frank only lives like 10 minutes away. So me and Frank went in and laid down the drums, and Frank just did some guitar tracks, and then the other guys, we were sort of coming backwards and forwards, but the other guys were going in separately. So we didn't realise sort of how good the record how it started to sound, until I came down when the guitars were getting laid down. I was like, oh, this is sounding amazing. And then sort of, because Ross puts his own sort of thing on it, it all started to come together. But yeah, I think I think the whole album's really good, to be fair. I can't wait to play all the record, really, but Doom Machine's the song for me. I love it. Yeah. It's just got a bit of everything in there for me. So yeah,
that's awesome. So with the album, are you going back into the studio with with Ross Russell?
Yeah.
So what got you guys back into the studio with him?
Russ. Well, we've known Russ for like since we were kids, really, and so one of them things that we always sort of wanted to record with him, but it was a bit of a strange one when we first started, because like our management was just wanting us to record like these sort of bigger hot shot sort of producers, and and I think Russ was he worked on Napalm then and Wild Hearts and all that kind of thing. And he was doing some like really weird new metal bands, and I think our management sort of steered us away from him, really. And then I think when we just got back together, we were just like, oh, what about Russ? Let's try Russ. And after the first sort of day of being in the studio with him, it was just like, he's just the best guy for us. He talks our language. He comes from where we all come from. You know, like he's as mad as what we are, worse to be fair. And he sort of gets where we're at, you know, and like he's basically the seventh member of the band. He comes up with ideas, we try them, you know, it's like it just works so well. Yeah. So with this record, we were instantly like, Russ, we need to get back in the studio. We need to do this new record.
Yeah, you guys just click off the bat.
Yeah, I mean, it's like there's always like talk, like people sort of going, oh, why don't you try this guy? Why don't you try that? And I was like, there's no point like trying to fix a broken record. Like we know exactly how the record. I mean, like it was so funny because with this record, we were like, oh, we want it sounding a bit more sort of dirtier. And to be fair, it's come out probably more cleaner than the last record. You know, because you know he's like yeah, sort of laughing and sort of yeah, and he just does his own. He does his own thing. You know, like we'll come into the studio and he'll be like, oh, what about this? And he'll be like sat up all night just putting these weird samples and sounds on it. You know, and it's like even the other day I was just like, oh fuck, I didn't even notice that was on there till today. Yeah. But he's just the best person for us. You know, he knows Napalm, we know Napalm. You know, they've been doing records together for years, so you know you just know from that he's just one of the best, to be fair. I think he's a very underrated producer, to be fair, but yeah, we'll never go with anyone else now. He's just the best.
Band your man, don't fix what isn't broken.
Exactly, and it's like one of them things is like, because we've known him for so long, he's our friend, you know, it's like it's the same with our crew and stuff. Is everyone who we know who works for us or is in the band, they've been our friend before they even worked for us. So we just know that we can talk how we talk, and if they do something bad, we can tell them straight to their face that, you know, and they won't take it that to heart. Where other people, you know, if people don't know us and they see us how we talk to each other, they go, fucking ass, you know, they just don't get it. Where you know, it's like friends, isn't it? You speak to your friends differently to other people.
Got that banter going already.
Yeah.
Awesome. So would you mind sharing maybe have you got a fond memory from the earlier stages in the band's career? Like, I know you guys toured and did some stuff with Slipknot, which must have been like incredible.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, it's so weird because when people talk to me about that kind of stuff, it's, you know, like it's one of them things where we never really thought about who we were touring with at the time. You know, like Slipknot, when we toured with them, was like they're on their second record, you know, like, so it wasn't like, I mean, they were massive, but it weren't a thing of going, oh fuck yeah, man, we're playing with Slipknot. And we've never really been that kind of band, really, to be like kissing people's asses, you know. It's like at the end of the day, I always think is people just playing bands, like, you know, small bands to big bands, they're all doing exactly the same thing, really. But I mean, like, Slipknot was a cool tour, you know, like nice, really lovely guys, crazy, you know, and like we were young and crazy as well. So it was like we really clicked really well, you know. And James Acaster did an interview with Corey a couple of weeks ago. He's our good friend as well. And Corey was like, oh, like you mentioned Speedhorn, and he was like, no way. And it was like talking about us, and they're one of our best friends, our good friends. And it's great to think that, you know, even now. But yeah, that was a good tour. But my favourite tour was the Biohazard tour, because it was the first real big tour. That was back when Biohazard were still a massive band, especially in Europe. And it was like the first tour we went on, and I was like, fuck, we're out with a proper proper rock stars here, because everything was going on. Like the things you get talk about, bands talk about, everything like that was happening. And we were like 22, 23-year-old kids going, this is crazy, you know, just the mad stuff what was happening on tour buses and stuff. You're there just going, this is nuts.
But
it's stuff the stuff you just can't talk about, you know. It's like one of them things you go, can't talk about that. But yeah, I mean, it's weird, like, about them tours, because we were just so young, we didn't really know any different. So it was just wild. It was just wild. Every tour was just nuts back then. Just crazy stories of buses getting set on fire.
Oh my God.
Like Frank driving down the road and nicking the tour bus pissed and stuff like that. It was just nuts. Like just stuff. Yeah, it's just, there's an actual book coming out soon, actually. Our old guitarist is releasing a book about all the old stuff. But yeah, it's stuff like that. Tables getting flung out of hotel windows and all that sort of.
Quite literally like the epitome of like that rock and roll lifestyle.
Yeah, it was insane because like as well as like we're on a major label, so we could sort of get away with it because they were back then when we first got signed, bands still got a lot of money.
Right.
So we could sort of pay for stuff. Well, we didn't pay for it, our label paid for it. But like we got away with just insane stuff. And I think it was like that point where like you're on tour with Slipknot and all them sort of big bands, and like you got your own tour bus and all that stuff, and like you sort of believe the hype to a point, and you just go fucking like, and especially with us, we were like, this ain't gonna last for long. Like let's just have the best time ever. Everything we can possibly do. Let's just do it.
Yeah.
And we did it in excess. To be fair, it's just nuts. But yeah, like Slipknot was an awesome tour. Yeah, it's just nuts. And like then we got to tour with Stone Sour. We did some stuff with Murder Dolls out in America, just because of like doing them few shows with them. They sort of took us under their wing and just helped us out so much. I mean, they're just such a proper, like, even though like they're this big metal band now, they're just proper legend, like nice people. They're not assholes in the slightest. You know, they were at first when we first met them because no one really knew what they looked like back then. But then, like after a couple of days, they were just like inviting us. We were just like hanging out in rooms, just doing crazy stuff. You know, it's great. It's the best time ever.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's weird because like, especially when people ask you about it, it's like you just forget about stuff like that. It was so long ago now.
Yeah.
You forget until someone like, if I'm meet up with the other lads and they sort of say something about it, I'm like, oh yeah, of course that happened, because there was just mad stuff going on every day, you know, getting arrested and put in jail for like 4 days.
Amazing.
And stuff like that, because like we were on tour with Amen, and we ended up just getting Shannon, who's now playing for Godsmack. He was the drummer, and we just ended up getting on really well with him, and we ended up going out getting wrecked and just ended up doing mad stuff. And luckily he got took back to the hotel. It was all his fault as well, but he got took back to the hotel, and we ended up all getting arrested for like, I think it was like 4 days. Like it was all, and none of us could remember what was going on. So it was just like everybody, our manager, our tour manager, to everyone got arrested.
Wow.
It was just nuts. You had to cut. I think it cost us like €1,000 each to get out. So it was like 10 grand or something like that to get out. It was fucking horrible.
But was it worth it?
It was mad. Like, 'cause I remember me and Gareth going back to the bus, like really fucked, and going, "Oh, I'm going to bed," and sort of I lay in the bunk, and next minute there was just a police dog face, like in my face, like, "Get out!" And I was like, "Oh fuck, we've done it this time." And it was just like, and we were just like really cheeky to him, like just being proper, and they just treated us like proper dicks. But I remember having to go to court, and they put us in like shackles and like walked us across like proper
On a film, like, yeah.
I was just there going, fuck, like, whoa, it was just nuts. Yeah, luckily our bus and our driver stayed, you know, waited for us, because if not, we'd been fucked, to be fair. But luckily he loved us, so he just hung around and waited for us. But I just remember getting back on that tour bus and just going, I was just like, what have we done? But it was quite, yeah. Even to this day, because we were supposed to go back to court and we never went. So we've probably got like something on us. Like if something happened to us out there, I'm sure they'd be like, right, you's in here now. You know, especially me and Frank, because we were the only original members. But yeah, it was nuts. Yeah.
That's such an insane story though. Like, yeah.
But the thing is we got so much press out of it as well. It was just nuts, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just because we'd come straight from that Biohazard tour, which was like 6 to 8 weeks long. Came home for like 2 days, and then we were straight out on tour with Amen, and they were just, back then that was like their second record, so they were just like, they were fucking nuts, you know. And it was just like, it just seemed to us that we were just going on tour with these crazy, like, it was like, right, Speedhorn are mad, can we get a band who is just as crazy as they are?
Yeah.
And then they put us together and just go off, and like, thinking about it, you're like, fuck it, like, you know, no wonder our manager came out and just made sure everything was all right to a point. But he was just as mad as we were, so it was just like just insane touring, which is good, but killed us at the end.
It's definitely made some memories that I've kept, obviously. So but seeing as it is our Christmas online fest, I do have just a couple of Christmas styled questions.
Okay.
Are you a Christmas fan? Are you a Christmas person?
I love it.
Nice.
I love Christmas. It's the best time of year. It's awesome.
Do you have a favourite or like a film that you have to watch like every year?
I've got about 6 of them. I love it. Muppets Christmas Carol is my favourite all time. Obviously, Home Alone. That's got to be a one. Well, Home Alone 1 and 2. Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, Elf. It's like they've all been on. All been on. Like, I'm going to my daughter, oh, come on, look at this. And she's like, yeah, whatever. Put Peppa Pig on. I'm like,
this is quality here, I tell you now.
So, yeah,
do you think Die Hard is a Christmas film?
I don't know. I would say it is. It's got Christmas songs in it.
Yeah.
It's got to be. What would you say?
It's become a very traditional thing, I think, among at least the British for sure. Yeah. So I mean, it must be cause of something.
It's got to have a Santa in it or something like that. Come on.
I'm pretty sure there's a tree.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, somewhere.
That's good enough. That's good enough.
If one member of the band was put on the naughty list, who would it be, and what would they be on there for?
It'd be Frank, definitely. Definitely Frank. I can't say what it would probably be for because he's very naughty. It'd be something bad. I can't say, but it'd definitely be Frank Regan on there.
The list goes on.
It's just like this, to be fair. He's a bad man. Probably Frank and probably Jim, to be fair. Jim's just as bad sometimes. But yeah.
Awesome. Would you like to finish off with a little sign-off message for some of your fans?
Oh yeah, definitely. Just thanks for buying the new record. Thanks for all your support this year. It's been amazing. Thanks for everybody, to be fair, who's covered us or doing interviews like this. It means it's great, to be fair. Being a band for this long and still having this coverage and people wanting to check us out. It's awesome. Can't thank everybody enough, really. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, thank you so much for taking the time to have a chat with us today. And I hope you guys have a nice Christmas.
Yeah, and you.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.